Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This is actually a new war story. It's entitled Shekels Part 2. Part 1 was the previous Old War story, Shake a Few Shekels Out, and I will, of course, put a link to that in the prescription below. If you haven't seen that video, you're probably going to want to watch that first so you know what in the hell I'm talking about. As I had stated toward the end of that previous video, my dad went and bought the Chromebook. Today, the Earth found out about it because we had an earthquake. That's what happens when my dad spends money. That's how often he spends money. We have a fucking earthquake when he spends money. Anyway, everything's fine, doesn't matter. Just funny coincidence. Anyhow, he got the Chromebook, so I said, okay, let me know when it arrives and I'll come over and set it up. He got a message from Amazon when he bought it, and they said, we're going to send you an email the morning of the day of delivery with a code, and you need to tell that code to the driver. So, anyway, the doorbell rang, and he gets to the door. The driver is already making off with the package. Didn't even want to wait for it, and knew he couldn't leave it without the code, but my dad was right there. So anyway, he caught the guy, so he came back, and he says, I need the code, and my dad told him, and he punched that in his phone thing that they have, and he said, yep, you're good, thank you, and off he went. So he got the Chromebook, and I went over there yesterday to set everything up. In the end, toward the end of the last video, I had mentioned about some accessories that my dad probably would need. You see, when all of your equipment is older than you, this is what happens. So he has a Linksys wireless router, WRT54G, I think, popular around the 2005 era, 2007 era, somewhere in there. Wireless G, 54 megabits per second. Now, I'm about certain he has the same shitty internet speed I do, but that is 100 megabit per second download, so it's already throttled back, hint hint, to another video, link in the prescription on that, about the WiFiBlast. Turns out my dad needs a WiFiBlast. But I told him, I said, listen, a repeater of any kind is not going to help you because it's only going to take the 54 megabit per second signal that your ancient router is putting out and broadcasting that. So it'll say a higher speed, but you ain't getting that because the router is throttling that back unless you run an Ethernet cable and you have the perfect setup for it, because you're going to probably be using it in the living room. In the corner of the living room is a cable wire that comes up from the basement. I said, all you got to do is pop an Ethernet wire up from there. The router is pretty much not far from there, and it's very easy to run the wire over to the router, and you got a home run. You're all done. You'll have much better Wi-Fi signal, not only for the Chromebook, but also for your ancient tablet and your even more ancient phone. That comes into play a little bit later. Anyways, long and short of the story is I went over there to set it up. So we sit down at the kitchen table. I get it turned on. It's good. I put in the Google accounts and the passwords and all that. And we get all of that set up. And everything is going good. It's got some after you've logged in set up to do. So I sit and let that run for both accounts. Took, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, something, not a big deal. So it finished that. Couple little apps I installed. And then I put the speed test app on there. He's getting 12. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the wireless signal dropped at least 6 times while I was sitting there. Then he went to use the microwave. Oh, guess what? That's 2.4 gigahertz. Same as the router. You know what happened to the signal? Gone. Nothing. Just dead. 12 megabits per second. This is what happens when you have such ancient equipment, you know. So anyways, then I said, well, let's test it in the living room. 23-ish. Medium signal strength. I said, listen, chances are good that the antennas in this thing aren't great. In the WIF's Chromebook, the antennas in it are shit. I have exceptionally strong Wi-Fi signal upstairs since revamping my wireless network. Links to that series in the prescription. So it's exceptionally good signal strength up there. Full signal on the 2.4 gigahertz, and the 5 is down just one click, and it's still faster than the 2.4. It's good. It's good. And her laptop gets weak to medium. That's why I ran an Ethernet cable to that room. Link in the prescription to that. Okay, so I get everything set up, and we've already found out that the Wi-Fi signal is not enough. The TV is still the same Panasonic 27-inch CRT. Of course he didn't put the other TV there. God forbid he does that. That TV has to die, and then he has to sit for 3 weeks with a dead TV, trying it every now and again, just to see if it'll come back. This TV has so many fucking hours on it. The picture tube is so worn that it doesn't have the brightness anymore. So all of the pictures are dark. There's no brightness to the background. It's depressing to watch. And he won't give it up because it still works. And he paid good money for that in 2005 or whatever the hell it was when he bought it. 2003? 1? Something. One of those. It's old. Really old. At least 20 years old. And it's got a lot of fucking hours on it. Anyway, that's how it goes over there. I did bring him a wireless keyboard and mouse that China sent just recently. Oh, hey! Who would have guessed that? There's a link in the prescription to that, too. Anyways, I brought the wireless keyboard and mouse. It takes a AA and a AAA battery. I had the forethought to put a AA and a AAA battery in the box, because if I went over there and when I called him, which I did on the Western Electric 1955 telephone, just because I was up there and it was there and it's a joy to use. There's a link in the prescription to that. Anyway, just with that, I called him and said, you know, I'll be over in about a half hour or so. And I totally forgot to mention about the batteries. So I said, you know what, let me just bring them. If I didn't bring them, he would have AA and AAA batteries, but they would be, well, it stopped working in the remote, but I tested them and they still have 0.9 volts left. And he holds on to this shit like it's going to be good for something. They're fucking dead. The voltage is the last thing to drop off on a AA or AAA cell. They're fucking dead. Throw them out. I can't even tell you the last time he bought batteries. You know what his source of batteries are? He goes to the cable company walk-in center and says, oh, my remote's dead. You got a new one? Yeah, here you go. It comes with batteries. Of course, he doesn't return the old one with the batteries. In fact, oftentimes he doesn't even bring the remote. He just walks in as he's passing by on in his travels and gets batteries that way. And they're cheap carbon zinc batteries. They're not even like alkaline, like real batteries. So it was a good thing I brought batteries too. It's like, I thought of even the last fucking details. That 39 fucking cent battery, and I had to put it in the box for him. For 39 cents! I know you can't buy a pack of batteries for less than $39 today with inflation, but that's neither here nor there. Just the single battery alone, if you price it out, For 39 fucking cents. Well, anyway, we set all that up, and I give my dad a quick crash course. I said, 99% of the time, you're going to be using this on the internet. So here's Google Chrome. Here's your address bar. There you go. He's got an old AOL mail account. All right, AOL.com. It comes up. There it is. You've seen this on your other computer. You know what to do. Oh, here, let's put your bank in. Okay, there you go. Go ahead and log in. Let him log in. Of course, it worked. He counted all of his pennies. I'm sorry, all of his shekels in there. And everything is all good. It's like Jack Benny, So anyway, so he counted all of his shekels. Everything's good. He logged out of that. And he's like, okay. I said, if you want to write a letter, there's no Microsoft Word, but you got Google Docs. You need a spreadsheet, there's Google Sheets. You need a PowerPoint, there's Google Slides. What else you need? No, pretty much got it. I said, okay. And of course, during this whole setup, I had the wireless keyboard and mouse already plugged in, set up, ready to go with the batteries, the whole nine, so they're working. So obviously, I'm using the mouse because it's a shit ton nicer than the goddamn touchpad. I dealt with the laptop's keyboard because it was just a little cumbersome with everything else on the table and that. It worked. I tested it. It's there. And yes, you can place it right on top of the Chromebook, on top of its keyboard. It won't mush the keys on that, and you can type away merrily on that. And it's funny because now my mother comes in. Now, I went through a whole spiel with that in the last video, and I put even an old war story previous from 5 years back about that in that video, where I gave an exemplary performance, gave another exemplary performance in that one. So anyway, she hobbles over with her cane, and she sits down. I said, oh, hang on a second. Let me turn it off so you get this from a cold start. Okay? Good. So it powers down. I said, okay, now you got to turn it on. The power button is on the keyboard. And she looks, and my dad had shown it to her before, and she said, I thought that was the power button. I said, whoa, turning over a new leaf? What happened? Shit. Anyway, so yeah, she was right. It's a power button. I said, go ahead and press that, hold it for a second or so, and if nothing happens, 5 seconds later, hold it again for a little longer. They're touchy like that. You can't just boop, and it goes. It needs a couple seconds so you don't accidentally. It powers up. It comes to the home screen. There's your account. Go ahead and log in. I don't know the password. This is going to be the kind of laptop that's got a Brother P touch on it that has the password. And as long as nobody breaks in the house, the password's safe. Oh, you know the other thing about don't make a file on your computer that has all your passwords? He's got one. I remember my passwords. One of them has to change like every 2 months, so oftentimes I have to hit forgot password because I forget what it was last changed to. Because it worked last month, and then I forget by the following month when I go to pay the bills, and then I got to do reset password, and then I set it to that, and then I'm good for the next month, and then I forget the month following. So, whatever, I deal with it. So, anyway, he's got a password file that's not password protected, because then he would need a file for that password, and then that defeats the purpose. Old people. Oh, God. Anyways, he had it written down, because I don't know what the password is, and I got to type it in a couple times between rebooting and all the other shit. So it's right there. Of course, the first password he gave me was wrong, so he had to go down to his password file and get the right password. All right, anyway, so there's all that. So now she puts her password in. I said, go ahead, press enter. She does, and it comes up to the desktop. First thing, where are all the icons? I'm going to lose my voice doing that. It hurts to do that voice. Where are all the icons? So I said, you don't got none. It's fucking new. That she understood. How do I open things? I said, well, probably you're going to want your email. She said, yeah. I said, so you're going to go to Google Chrome. Hey, look at that. The icon is right at the bottom of the screen. And it looks exactly like it did 5 years ago when you last used a fucking computer. How about that? Oh, yeah, maybe it morphed a little bit and changed more modern stupid shit, but you can identify it as Google Chrome. Okay, so she gets that. Now, totally ignores the mouse. Completely ignores the mouse. She's like, what the hell is that thing? I don't need that. She's got a touchpad. I can't figure this one out. She was actually adept at using that. What the fuck? She was adept at using it. And she also knew to just tap on the touchpad to click. Where the fuck did she learn these skills? Never. She never even had a laptop or a touchpad. Fucked up. Okay, good. So, there it is. She hits it, Google Chrome loads up. I said, good. You should know what to do from here. What is this? That's the home screen of Google Chrome. Where do you want to go? Where's AOL? Exactly as I had envisioned it. Man, oh man. Oh, and she pissed me the fuck off. Holy shit. Like I said in the other video, she was unteachable 20 years ago. Nowadays, it's going to be 11 12 times worse. She had the fucking audacity to say, you're not a very good teacher. Really? Wow. I mean, that's pretty fucking low. For my own mother to say that. Okay, I don't have to be good at everything. But that is one thing I am quite good at. And here's proof. The Whiff has said that to me many times. People at Tiny Middle have told me countless times, you would make a great teacher. I said, yeah, but I'm stuck with this dead-end job. Okay, but anyway, that, and of course nowadays, comments on YouTube. Wow, are you a teacher? You ought to be one. Something like that. I get, once, twice a month. I get comments like that. I'm good. I know that. Is it something I want to pursue? Not really. I guess I could, if needs must, but I'm retarded. I mean, retired. Maybe I'm not that good of a teacher. Anyway, so she pissed me off. Anyway, I let that bounce off of me because I got this thing. They call it, and I don't really like this term, but they call it a thick skin. The folk today, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever the fuck comes next, soft skin motherfuckers. We know this, okay? We know this. I can let shit like that just bounce off of me. We had a saying when I was in school, in elementary school, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me, something like that. And something about whatever you say bounces off me and goes back to you, something like that. We had sayings like that. So, yeah, we kind of grew ourselves up that way on the playground. Shit. What happened to that? Anyways, I said, see that thing at the top there? Where it says google.com? You want AOL.com. So go up there, click in there, and type AOL.com and press enter. She goes, taps the touchpad, she types in AOL.com, enter. What is this? Where did you just go? I said, see that little thing that says mail in the corner? That's what you want. Okay, good. So she hits that, now wants her username. What's my username? How did you forget this? You've only had this same email address since 1997? 1997. So that's 27 years. You've had the same username, the same email address. 27 years. You'd think she would fucking remember. So she put that in, and then my dad had to remind her of the password for that. And miraculously, AOL saved the day. It said, well, okay, new device, hang on. We got to verify this. So I said, okay, hang on. Let me take care of this. So I hit the verify. It makes a voice call to the house because that's what was set up. And it calls. My dad picks up, puts it on speakerphone. I enter the code in and said, okay, good, whatever. And now here's her mail. She said, what the fuck was all that? I said, that was a one-time thing because this is a new device. You won't see that again. It won't happen again. But what was all that? I'm losing my patience. Now she looks at the, 6 messages, 8 messages, whatever it shows, the first batch of messages. Because the top are a list of your messages, and the bottom half is the message you click on. So she looks. What is this? I don't know what that is. Dump it. Okay, go ahead. Click on it and hit delete. She, lost everything at this point. What's Harbor Freight? She doesn't even know what Harbor Freight is. For those of you who are not in the U.S., they're a store that sells a lot of cheap tools. We'll leave it at that. Of dubious quality. We'll leave it at that. You probably have similar stores in your countries. But this was not an email from Harbor Freight. Because my dad looked at it and he's like, oh, that's a spam message. I get true emails from President and CEO of Harbor Freight saying, hey, there's these scam emails that are sent out that say you've won a toolkit or something like that. We don't do that. We might do giveaways here and there, but those people will be contacted directly, and it's never just going to be an email. You know, there's going to be a lot more to it than that. So keep a lookout, and don't give anybody your credit card info except for us. And don't give anybody your name and address, bank account number, gift cards, any of that shit. We do send out surveys, you know, so he sends emails out periodically letting you know not to click on that. And my dad spotted that right away, which is good. So anyway, I don't think my mother is smart enough to go through with any of those spam things, because there's not enough brain cells going around. Okay, it just doesn't work. So anyway, she doesn't know what to do with AOL anymore, because that's been revamped and changed, and it doesn't look anything like it did back in the day. But the concept is the same. You click on the message, it opens the message, you look at it, you reply, you forward it, or you delete it. Or you just leave it and go to the next message. All up to you. Just totally didn't know what to do. Where's my recipes? They're not on here. This machine is brand new. Doesn't it automatically transfer? Did you go and formally bring the laptop down and show it the other computer and tell it? What the fuck do you think this is? It doesn't just happen automatically from Windows 7 to Chrome OS. You gotta do it. That's why I'm here. I need my recipes. Well, probably the best idea is to go to the computer downstairs, see what she's got, and how big it is, and throw it on her Google Drive. That way it's just fucking there. So, we go to Google Drive downstairs, and I go to log into that. My dad doesn't use that. She don't use that because she don't use the computer down there. And Google's like, oh, two-step verification. We sent a notification to your phone. To my dad's ancient cell phone. You've dealt with two-step. You know what it is. I did that, and they hacked my YouTube account. Real fucking secure. But that's what we have to do today to make everything less secure. Okay, good. Just like the RFID chips for tap payments on your credit cards, my friend XJoe81X, they got his credit card just people walking by on the street. Just bloop. Goes on all the time. Goes on all the time. And it certainly can happen to you. So, anyways, she wants her recipes. We go through the two-step, and his phone doesn't do the two-step because it's so old. It doesn't. It's rickety. You know, it can't dance anymore. It doesn't know how to do that. Okay, maybe something fucked up. So it's, you know, resend. Nope. Not working. I said to my dad, I said, you were telling me not long ago that you were having a problem with, like, texts and phone calls. He says, yeah, sometimes I'll send a text and it just takes, like, forever for it to send it. And sometimes people call me and the phone doesn't even ring and it goes right to voicemail. I said, well, it could be bad signal, cell signal in the house, but I checked the phone, it's on Wi-Fi. It'll get the two-step verification over Wi-Fi. No, the phone's just so fucking decrepit. that it just... I said, well, I can't do this. I can't do this. The only way I can transfer this is if you have a flash drive. By George, I've got one! I made him get a flash drive years ago. So that's not kept with the computer, because that would only make sense. That's kept somewhere else in the house. So he goes and he gets the flash drive. Now, the Chromebook knows what a flash drive is. It can handle that, no problem. So I go on the computer down there, plug the flash drive in, and it's got Windows 7, so it knows what that is, and it copies everything over just fine. I go upstairs, we sit down at the kitchen table with the almost non-existent Wi-Fi signal at 12 megabits per second, and I sit down and I open up Google Drive. Of course, the Chromebook's happy because we're already logged in on that and did the two-step there. It worked upstairs. I don't know, but his phone is so fucked up. All right. Anyway, I go and I upload everything to Google Chrome, and to Google Drive, and it's going. Then the Wi-Fi drops, and Google Drive is like, okay, you know, you're not connected, so we're gonna just sit here until you got it. Oh, well, you got Wi-Fi. All right, keep transferring. So I got everything up there. Then my mother says, oh, I forgot to mention, sorry. She says, where's my recipes? I said, they're not on here. This is a new device. Well, I need them. I said, okay, good. Where are they? They're on the computer. I said, without skipping a beat, I said, oh, thank you so much. I thought they were in the washing machine. The brain cells, they're just not there. They're just not fucking there. So my dad said, it's probably in my documents. So I look and, well, sure as shit, there they are. Huh. In the documents folder. Who would have guessed that? Shit. She couldn't tell me that. God for fucking bid. Now she says, one-hit stripes. I said, what the fuck is that? It's a knitting pattern I want to send to your wife. And you haven't for the last 5 years. I asked your father, but he wouldn't do it. Well, I found out why. I'm looking, and Google Drive was not... It's not set up for 2,000 fucking files. They're in a folder. But 2,000 fucking files. And it's not just recipes. It's knitting patterns and other shit and God knows what the fuck else. No organization whatsoever. I said, here, check this out. I got my phone. I got a Cookbook app. And I started using that years ago. They got it for Android, and iOS people can fuck off. I don't know if there's a version for that. And it works on the computer. So that's awesome. Whether I'm on the computer or a tablet or a phone, I got my recipes. I can make them anywhere if I travel. But that's not the point. It's just, what device am I on right now? Oh, here's the cookbook. Great, let me see. Oh, well, we're going to need onions. We're out of those. And we need a whole chicken for that. And we need... Oh, yeah, we're out of cumin. So we need that. Let's see, what else? Chicken broth, need that. And we need this, and we need this. Okay, good. Oh, potatoes, right? Yeah, that's on the recipe too. Need that. Got it. Okay, good. And then the whiff gets the stuff, and I cook dinner. I said, look, they're all nicely laid out. You just scroll through all your recipes. It's even got a little picture, show you what it looks like. Here, we'll take this one, which I just made the other day. There it is. There's your ingredients. Here's all the steps. Scroll down to the bottom. There's a nice picture of what it looks like. I don't normally take pictures of what I cook. I go to Google Images and I just get a food styled version that is reminiscent of what I make, and that's close enough. Good. And it goes right in there with it. But nope, just 2,000 fucking files. So now I gotta find one-hit stripes. The Chromebook and Google, it's slow. With no Wi-Fi, it's painfully slow scrolling because it doesn't load the whole list and then you can scroll. It loads so much, and then when you get down to the bottom, it loads more. And if you actually had a reasonable connection, it should be seamless-ish. It never is, but you know what I'm talking about. Nope. So I said, you know, I got a better idea. Let me go back down to the computer downstairs where they are, and I'll look there. So I open up Documents, and I go over to O. Yes, I could have searched for it, but you're going to find out right now why you can't search her shit. This was an ancient file done in an old version of WordPerfect, which is the same version of WordPerfect I used for my oceanography report. Oh, there's an old war story for that. Haven't posted that one yet, but there's going to be a link in the description, so if you're watching this at a later time, that video won't be private, and you can watch that. Great. So that's 15 links now. So I go to O, and I'm looking for O-N-E. And I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, because there was nothing just with the number 1. That would have been too easy, you know. I'm looking. Oh, here. ONEHIT.str. STR? What the fuck is a .str file? What the fuck is this shit? Well, you know what? I don't know. I went back downstairs. I'm at the computer downstairs, and I hit Properties, and it's like it's an STR file. What program do you want to open it with? I was hoping you could tell me. My mother certainly doesn't know. She made it that way, and the reason it's called that is because it was the 8.3 convention for old versions before we had long file names. You had 8 characters, dot, and then 3 characters, which is why we have .com, .exe, .pdf, .scr, .jpg, .bmp, .png, .mp4, you know, you name it, whatever the extension is. So you know what kind of file it is. Nope, that went out the fucking window. But I'm looking through. Oh, look at that. There's another copy of it. One-hit stripes in a long file name where you could just open it. And it was like a Word document. And I was like, oh, great. Except for the fact that she simply copied and pasted the title of it, One-Hit Stripes, but whoever originally wrote this, wherever she found it, put a space in between all of the letters. So it's O space, N space, E space, space, H space, I space, T. How are you going to search that? This, like, no, the brain cells just don't work. How are you going to fucking find that? A little organization is all it takes. All of my videos and still images that I have are in a folder backed up to 3 different drives, and in there it goes by date. So today is April 5th, so it will say April 5, comma, 2024, space, dash, space, Old War Stories with Uncle Jay, Shekels Part 2. Oftentimes, I'll shorten that to OWS WUJ, Always Woods, Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. I know what it is. And I know to search for it. It's tough that way, but still, the YouTube catalog is up there, and you could search that using, the full title. But typically, like, if I'm looking for this, I could just type in Shekels and search that either on YouTube or in all of my files, and it'll say April 5th, 2024. Always Woods, Shekels Part 2. It makes sense. Shit. Some keyword that's not going to be altered at all. So there's no organization. They're on Google Drive. I said, where's Word? Google Docs. Where's Word? I just said Google Docs. But where's Word? It's, and then we're going to get into the other conversation about how it's a subscription for that now, which is totally fucking beyond even my comprehend. I know why. It's money is what it is. Okay, money makes the world go round, and nothing else, and never let anybody tell you anything different. Money talks, bullshit walks, period. If you have money, you can make all the wrong decisions and be exonerated from it. Elon Musk, think of rich people. Bozos, Trump, who else is like super fucking rich? All those real fucking rich people that have too much money that they can't even spend or get fined for. And they'll still have too much money, the super duper rich people, shit like that. Anyways, it's just like thwarted at every turn. The Wi-Fi sucks. The TV is not getting changed out, so that's never fucking happening. I had to give him a wireless keyboard and mouse with batteries, for fuck's sake. He decided to give me something to eat. He said, I got some frozen burritos from Aldi. You ever get those? I said, yeah, once in a while. So he pulls them out of the freezer. He said, yeah, I just got these not long ago. They're not bad. Well, not half bad, which is worse than not bad. I've had them. They're all right. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And he had some hot sauce with it that I've never tried. Trapeze. Trappey''S. It was good. So he gave me 2 of them, and he said, yeah, I think the package of 8 of them are like $2.99. That's why he buys them. They're dirt cheap. So, then he said, you want more? I said, yeah. Because that hot sauce was too good. I can't get enough of it. So he goes and he heats up 2 more. So the microwave goes on and Wi-Fi cuts out. But anyway, there's that. And he was like, he looked at me. He was almost appalled. Like, well, shit, that was like $1.50 I spent on you for coming I spent more on gas driving there and back. Shit. Oh my God. I can't, it doesn't end. It doesn't end over there. Just the fuck goofery of my mother and the cheapness of my dad. I don't know. All I know is I'm glad it's set up. The Chromebook is nice. It's faster than the WIFs because it's like 4 or 5 years newer, 4 years newer. So, yeah, it's snappier, but with a shitty Wi-Fi signal, what else is it going to do? It relies on that. So, that's never going to get fixed. TV's never going up. USB hub, Ethernet, never going to happen. Just going to sit in misery until the TV dies, and then I'll probably have more wireless HDMI transmitters, and I'll just give him one. So he doesn't have to spend money on that. I still can't win. Anyway, that's going to wrap this one up. Exactly as I predicted. And sure as shit, it came true. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you. Check all the links out in the prescription in case there's something you missed. Or you got some time, want to catch up on old stuff, or rewatch, because the rewatch value is great too. Make sure you click like. Make sure you click subscribe. Ring the bell. Arby's does it. YouTube does it. All that. Thanks again. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.